Hey guys, so this is episode 3 of Spinal Cord Injury Awareness. The things I want to talk about today are post-injury depression and pain management. Let's start with post-injury depression. Post-injury depression doesn't happen with everybody, okay? There are some people that just take it on the chin and just roll with it and just get on with their lives. That's cool. And you know what? I used to be one of those people. People used to say to me all the time, I can't believe how well you're taking it. I'd be absolutely devastated if it was me. You really, you're so positive. And that happened for maybe 6 months. The first 6 months, I'd have down days. But between 6 months and 10 months, I think after the limelight fades and you're no longer newly injured, the novelty wears off, and you for me anyway, I got really depressed. The reason that I'm doing Spinal Cord Injury Awareness in October and not September, which was actually Spinal Cord Injury Awareness month, is because September was probably one of the worst months of my life. I was suffering with horrendous depression, something I've never suffered with before, and now I have this whole new awareness of what depression actually is, and it's not just oh yeah, have a bit of a pity party and feel sorry for yourself. It's fucking horrible. There's a voice inside my head. I've called it slick, and it's dangerous. The guy he's slick. He's like a slimy salesman trying to sell you something that you don't need, you don't want, but he knows you. He knows your weaknesses, he knows your insecurities. He speaks to you in your own voice, and he's tricky, he's slimy. He starts telling you you're worthless, you're not contributing to society, you're just using resources, you're not. What are you doing with your life? Why don't you just give up and end it? What? And it's a very horrible thing to deal with. It's really, really bad. And the reason I feel comfortable talking about this is because I've just come out of that dark cloud has lifted. But when that dark cloud is over you, there's no amount of logic that can really kind of bring you out of it. To be honest, there are a lot of daily routines that can help you out of it. But there's no. What I used to do if I saw someone feel anxious or depressed, I'd just be like, oh hey man, just think about the good stuff, think about what you're grateful for. But it doesn't really work like that, once that dark cloud gets hold of you, there's no logic that can really change. I think sometimes for me, I just had to wait for it to pass, and then you can use logic. So for example, for now, my daily routine is I get up every day, I think about what I'm grateful for. That's the first thing I think of. What I'm grateful for. I meditate, and then I get up and I do some standing, which calms down my spasms. So what was happening was I was waking up in pain every day, and of course it's really hard to feel grateful for something when you've been sleep deprived. You wake up in pain, the first thing you see is your wheelchair, and you're like, fuck's sake, I'm in pain, I can't walk. Where my injury is quite fresh, it was only 10 months ago, I can fully remember being an able-bodied person. In fact, I don't dream, this is really bizarre, but I never dream that I'm in a wheelchair. All my dreams I'm walking. I'm still an able-bodied person in all my dreams. So when I wake up, it's pretty hard for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm a paraplegic. So that's kind of tough to deal with. What I try and do now is, I think, to be honest, finding a sleeping position that worked for me, which made me sleep soundly, having a good night's sleep, and then obviously waking up not in pain helped, and then being gratitude, meditating, all the daily routine things that you can do to maintain a positive attitude throughout the day really, really, really helps. Setting yourself goals helps. I set myself a goal to reduce my anti-spasm medication, to walk around the center without stopping, and all these sort of having these things that you can focus on which stop you just feeling sorry for yourself really helps too. But to be honest, I honestly feel kind of fortunate that I felt like the cloud lifted, so I could focus on those things. But when the cloud was there, it was horrible. It was just consuming my thoughts, and it was fucking hard to deal with, really. The next thing I want to talk about is pain management. So there's a very common thing that happens with people with spinal cord injuries. Again, it doesn't happen to everyone, just like the post-injury depression, but it's painful. You have major surgery on your back. They give you very strong painkillers. In my case, it was morphine, so it was strong opiates it helps you. So when people said that I was really positive when I first got injured, I have to say I think it genuinely had something to do with the amount of morphine that I was on. Not only does the morphine kill your physical pain, but it kills your emotional pain too. And I think that's why it can be so addictive sometimes. When I'd wake up in pain, what I'd usually do is I would take the slow release morphine before I went to bed. It's a morphine that releases slowly over 10 hours. So by the time I wake up in the morning, it would be easy to get out of bed, and I'd sort of feel a bit more positive. But then I realized that I sort of built up a bit more of a tolerance to the morphine. I would take it more, and then there was always the temptation to just like take it because why not? It's not good. It means I won't feel physical pain, I won't feel emotional pain, and I was just generally happier taking small doses of morphine, which was slowly becoming larger doses of morphine. But then I read a story about another guy who had a very similar injury to me, and he spiraled into addiction, depression, like writing suicide notes and stuff like that, and made me realize that I'm on a slippery slope here. I'm like basically taking opiates for fun, and I could really easily get addicted to it. So I had to wean myself off, and I actually think that might have contributed a little bit towards my depression, because I think I had withdrawal issues from using the morphine. But I'm really glad that I went through that stage, because now I'm completely free of morphine. I don't take it anymore at all, which is really good. I think really generally the less medication that you can take, the better. But it is really common for people after their spinal cord injury is to get addicted to drugs. It's a very, very common story. Again, it doesn't happen to everyone. It almost happened to me, and I have someone special to thank for that, them sharing their story with me. He's a guy called Richard Corbett. You can check him out on YouTube. He has a channel called Wheels to Walking, like Wheels to Walking, and he's got some amazing content on there, and he sent me a few emails with his story. He basically shared his story with me to stop me going through that same thing myself. He's a cool guy. He makes some really cool YouTube content, way better than mine, so you should go check out his channel. Now you guys have a bit more of an understanding of a spinal cord injury, or at least my personal spinal cord injury and my story. If you have any questions for me that I can answer, pop them down in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them, and yeah, we can learn more about spinal cord injuries together. Thanks.